Hello and welcome to the Cinematic Attic YouTube channel. I'm Mike. How you doing? This is the channel where we appreciate all movies, all genres, and all formats of physical media. So if that's alright with you, welcome. Okay, so it's been a little while, longer than I wanted since the last video, but that means that I've had time for a lot of things to stack up. So I got a big haul to share with you. Starting, as usual, with Vinegar Syndrome and partner labels. From their last batch of new titles, I picked up Reptilicus. And this is a wonderful looking set. It's actually 4K. So Reptilicus in 4K. I had only had this movie on DVD, and I believe it was a full screen DVD at that, so this not only gave me the correct aspect ratio, but the thing about this that I found fascinating that I didn't even know was that there was a Danish version. This was a kind of a Danish co-production. They shot their own version for a Danish audience. So it's like the movie was filmed twice with mostly the same actors, but not all, with mostly the same script, but there are differences in each. So there's really two versions of this movie. I mean, two whole versions of this movie. And you get both of them here. So I watched the Danish version. Very interesting how it's different. There's even a song number. But yeah, very happy to get that. From AGFA, I got their release of Amanda and the Alien. And I got this one specifically to upgrade this VHS. And it was actually a screener VHS as well, promo copy. But wanted to upgrade that. I got a title that was from a month or two back from Saturn's Core. That is the David the Rock Nelson Collection, Volume 1, with Conrad Brooks versus Werewolf, Son of Werewolf, some other things. I wasn't going to get this until I was reading online the special features, one of which is the Brooks family, Conrad Brooks that is, behind the scenes at Conrad's family ranch in Hagerstown, Maryland. That's my town. So I had to look into that. I had to watch the special feature. I was able to figure out where that farm ranch actually is. I found out looking at special features that part of these movies were filmed in Hagerstown. So I had to get this. So very cool. Couple of the sale items. I just picked up two. Finally picked up Mutant Hunt, movie I'd seen a long time ago. Always loved that image. Just finally picked that up. And a VSA Cyber Vengeance. Moving on now to upgrade a full screen DVD. I got this Dark Force Entertainment double feature of the Black Dragon, and specifically Enforcer from Death Row, which, as I said, upgrades DVD full screen. So got that. Some more full screen DVD upgrades. I got this older Blue Underground Blu-ray of The Cat of Nine Tails from Argento. Also, I got my very first release from Radiance. Messiah of Evil. I would wager that this may be some folks' first Radiance title because it is a horror title. I realized that my copy was a full screen DVD, so I went for this edition because it seemed to be very nice. So, pick that up. Had to show this recent pickup. I got this because I watched the movie and loved it. Last Stop in Yuma County. This is a great movie. If when you're watching it, if you think you know where it's going, don't bet your money on it. I had to get this immediately on Blu-ray, which is out from Well Go USA, but well worth your time. Great movie. Check it out. Finally picked up this Vestron series Blu-ray that I'd put off for a long time. Maximum Overdrive, which I got to upgrade a VHS. Just one of the many movies on my wish list that I pick through now and then. From Shout Select, I bought this used, probably on eBay, because I really wanted to see it. I really wanted to see if it fit in my Warriors cinematic universe, see past videos for that, and hopefully at some point soon a future video for an update. Trespass. Enjoyed that film a lot. It's a Walter Hill film. Walter Hill, of course, directed The Warriors. I've placed an order with Target for a few things, including the, guess what, latest volume 19 of the film noir Dark Side of Cinema series from Kino Lorber. This one containing 3 films, 2 of which this time, unfortunately, I already own from an imprint set. I think as things go, we'll probably have more of this crossover. I know they've already planned out at least through volume 25. But here we get Beware My Lovely, No Man of Her Own, and Dark City, and this is the one I didn't have. But, you know, I'm 19 volumes in. I'm not going to quit now. But I think they're doing it smartly in that they're giving us some that they probably know was released elsewhere, and then one that will still grab you because maybe it wasn't. So, anyway. Also, in that order, I have been on a British horror, Hammer horror, European horror kick recently. And it was time I grabbed this Synapse release of the complete Hammer House of Horror television show. I've seen a few episodes of this. It's good. So I thought I would get this in my collection. So, Severin recently put out a huge edition of opera, Dario Argento's opera, and I didn't want to pay the price for that set, but I realized I did need to upgrade my VHS of opera, so I looked around to see what else was out there, and I was very pleased to find that Scorpion did a perfectly fine 3-disc Blu-ray of it, which I got for much cheaper. So I did grab opera, but not the new Severin. I got the old Scorpion. I find sometimes when the new fancy expensive editions come out and people are getting rid of their previous editions, I'm usually there to scoop them up because I'm perfectly happy with this. So, works out. But as I said, upgrades VHS. Finally, got a copy of this movie that I've wanted to see for many years. I found it for a nice price. The price was usually the barrier. But I found a copy on eBay that was a little beat up, but the disc is fine. Extro, a film I've wanted to check out a long time, so finally watched it from this release from Second Sight, and enjoyed it. The case and packaging is a little beat up. There's some gouges and tiny tears and things. So that helped me get it for a decent price. But again, disc is fine. That's all that matters. So happy to add this to my collection. If you remember the last video, I placed a order with Kino Lorber for their sale, their recent sale. And I had limited myself to, I think, 10 titles. Well, I went back for 6 more. As it was ending, they were actually changing some of the movies available in the sale. So I went back towards the end and picked up a few other things. Starting with, from 1921, Fritz Lang's Destiny. This is a film I've seen. This is a good film. It's a silent film, of course, but visually rather amazing. So I wanted to add that to my collection. They have other labels in their sale, including Raro, and I got a copy of the new Godfathers. From their Kino Cult line, since I was into European horror recently, I grabbed Spy Number 1 from Kino Cult, Lorna the Exorcist, a Jess Franco film. I grabbed The Blue Angel, 1930 Marlene Dietrich film, which I got to actually upgrade this VHS. But this is an example of another film release that has 2 versions of the film, and they do a scene comparison of the 2 versions on here as a special feature. But that's why I wanted to get it now on this release, because it has the different versions. I got this one simply to upgrade a VHS, Curtis Hanson's The Bedroom Window, to upgrade that. And the last one from that sale, again, some British horror, The Blood Beast Terror with Peter Cushing. Having watched Deadpool and Wolverine recently, and seeing just how much they're embracing the multiverse of all their former films, I wanted to make sure I got any film with a Marvel character, at least on disc. And it looked like the only 2 that I hadn't, that I still had on VHS, and I'm keeping the VHS for both of these for now, were Captain America, the Matt Salinger Captain America. So I got that on Blu-ray. And the TV movie, made-for-TV movie, Doctor Strange with Peter Hooton. So I got that on a Shout Factory DVD. Then to upgrade a couple full-screen old monster movies, Attack of the Giant Leeches and Night of the Blood Beast, both on this Blu-ray, and they're 1:66 to 1 aspect ratio, unlike what you'll find on a lot of the budget releases of these. This is a new Blu-ray from a company that's perhaps also new, Gemini Entertainment. Massacre Video had a sale, and considering that their inventory is not, a huge, vast array of titles, and that I already own a number of them, I pretty much just bought everything that I wanted to get. And that was 9 titles. So for Blu-ray, I finally got myself a copy of Toxic Zombies. The Amazing Mr. No Legs. The Bollywood horror film Mahakal. Haven't seen the movie, so I'm not sure if I'm pronouncing that completely correctly, but it's a 1993 Bollywood horror film. Jack-o'-lantern. A newer film from David Dakota, Final Stab. Robert Davi, Roddy Piper, The Bad Pack. And I got this one because I can actually upgrade a VHS. Then 3 DVDs. Got Chester Turner's 2 films, Black Devil Doll from Hell and Tales from the Quaded Zone. I've seen Quaded Zone, haven't seen this one yet, but love my shot on video stuff. Always wanted to own these. Now I do. And the last one, I believe shot on video, or at least shot on 16 and edited on tape, as it says here. Horror anthology, Night Terror. Then, I actually got a couple orders from Hamilton Books. The first order, I was just picking a few things because I hadn't shopped there in a while. And here's what I got from that first order. Project X. This is an olive release of a William Castle film. Couple MGM science fiction films from Scorpion. Robot Holocaust and Land of Doom. From VCI, a Eddie Romero movie, Twilight People. And you can't have the Twilight People without eventually then having Night People. Gregory Peck film from 1954 on Kino Lorber. Another Scorpion release, a biker film, The Peace Killers. And from Mill Creek, double feature of spaghetti westerns. And a few DVDs that were cheap. Kino Lorber, I, Jane Doe, 1948. One of the Midnight Movies double features that I don't think I've ever seen anywhere before, Gorilla at Large and Mystery on Monster Island. And these are both in widescreen. You got to be careful when you buy these Midnight Movies releases. Sometimes they're not in the right aspect ratio. And then these last two were like, I don't know, $2 each or something. But I got a Code Red release of Steel Arena. and a Scorpion release of the 1985 film Delivery Boys. Then you can follow Hamilton Books on YouTube, and they'll do these little videos now and then showcasing special new inventory that they get in. And I subscribe and was alerted to a drop of Scream Factory titles to Hamilton Books. So I got a pile of them. And from what I've heard elsewhere, these are titles going out of print through Scream Factory. But a lot of British horror, European horror here as well. Horror of Frankenstein. Demons of the Mind. Fear in the Night. And I will say that I had a triple feature one day of the films I just mentioned. And it was a pretty good time. Then Fear No Evil. And these were all like $5 or $6, I can't remember. So, great deal. Blood from the Mummy's Tomb. Susan George in Fright. Hammer film here, Straight On Till Morning. Definitely Hammer here, Scars of Dracula. One I was very happy to see on the list, The Chosen, a Kirk Douglas film about end of world revelations kind of a movie, also known as Holocaust 2000. This is one I had wanted to see, and there it was on the sale. Got this film, which actually upgrades VHS. Finally got myself a copy of Vice Squad. That will upgrade the VHS. And maybe I'll finally get around to watching this. Super Beast. Cue Rob Zombie. And finally got myself a copy of Road Games. So maybe I'll finally watch this one. Yes, I know, I haven't seen Road Games yet. But, yep, got a copy. Criterion's July sale, I only got one item. The Coker trilogy from Kiarostami. Whereas The Friend's House and Life Goes On, Through the Olive Trees. Great films, great director. I've seen like 3, 4, 5 of his films at least. More on at least one of these later. But yeah, grab that from BarnesandNoble.com. And I don't know if you can see this very well, but here and here there are gashes in it from what looks like to be a utility knife. This did not come in a box. This came in, you know, one of those cheap shipping envelopes. So why someone had a knife around that, I don't know, but it damaged my box. But it's okay, you can barely tell. Just kind of annoying. And finally, I got a pile here from Severin. Starting with the couple that I bought. I don't know where I got these, but I didn't get them from Severin. These are just to upgrade full screen DVDs. I realized that my copies are full screen and that Severin sold them. So I replaced them with Severin Blu-rays. Death Warmed Up and The Sect. Then when it came out as a new title, I went ahead and got Danza Macabra Volume 3. And I was especially happy to see this is a Spanish Gothic collection. The previous two were Italian Gothic, and that's great, but I enjoy also some Spanish Gothic. This set I got specifically at the time because I had this title, Necrophagus, on a DVD, full screen DVD that needed to be replaced under the title of Graveyard of Horror. So that's why I got that. Also in this set you get Cake of Blood, Cross of the Devil, The Night of the Walking Dead. So, and when I ordered that, I believe to get free shipping, I threw this other title in. Shot on video, Frankie and His Pals. Love my shot on video, so I thought I'd give this a try. Then, Severin had a sale recently, and got some things. Really, I should say, spent some money. From the new stuff, I only got 2 items. I did get the Mad Bomber, which I have seen, Chuck Connors, and it actually replaces this old VHS. So definitely got that. And I got a dog called Vengeance because it replaces a full screen DVD that I had on a Video Asia pack. But then as far as sale items, again into British horror, Gothic horror, I got the 4K of the Jess Franco Count Dracula, Christopher Lee. 4K. And when I was doing my research on the site and comparing this to the Blu-ray version, I noticed that the Blu-ray version has a entirely separate documentary on here that's not on the 4K. The 4K has its own Dracula Barcelona documentary on it. And then I noticed that the documentary that was on the Blu-ray was actually released on its own with a second documentary. So you have Vampire Quadacook and Umbracle from Pier Portobello. So I just got that on its own release so that I wasn't missing anything. And where I spent the most was on the one Saturday they decided to put box sets on sale, and I got 4 of them. So since I already had Volume 1 and I just bought Volume 3, I had to go ahead and get Volume 2 of the Danza Macabra set, Italian Gothic films. So of course, Castle of Blood, Jekyll, Devil's Lover, They Have Changed Their Face. So, and Castle of Blood is in 4K, by the way. So I just went ahead and grabbed that, especially since I was in the mood for Gothic horror. And being in the mood for Gothic horror, European horror, British horror. Got the Eurocrypt of Christopher Lee set. 8 Blu-rays, 1 DVD, or 1 CD rather. I know this has been out and people have shown this, but you do get a book, and you get these movies: Castle of the Living Dead, Crypt of the Vampire, Challenge the Devil, Sherlock Holmes and the Deadly Necklace, and the Theater Macabre TV show hosted by Christopher Lee. That's a 2-disc collection of a TV show. So, oh, and the Torture Chamber of Dr. Sadism. Almost forgot one. So, plenty of Lee in that set. And speaking of Lee, I forgot to mention that the Jess Franco Count Dracula actually upgrades a VHS. But you can't get the Eurocrypt Volume 1 without getting the Eurocrypt Volume 2. Just can't do it. 6 Blu-rays, 1 CD in this one. Also get a book. And Uncle Was a Vampire. Secret of the Red Orchid. Dark Places with Joan Collins, which actually upgrades a VHS for me. Dracula and Son. And Murder Story with a bonus feature of Mask of Murder. So lots of Christopher Lee for me. And just like you can't have Volume 1 without Volume 2 of Christopher Lee, you can't have Christopher Lee without his buddy Peter Cushing. With Cushing Curiosities, 6-disc, 1-book set. With a very thick book in that one. Here you get Cone of Silence, The Man Who Finally Died, Tender Dracula, Bloodsuckers, which I did have on DVD, but this says world premiere of the restored extended version. All right. And the 6 surviving episodes, it's so sad to say that, of Peter Cushing from a Sherlock Holmes TV show. So, lots of Cushing curiosities there. So yeah, that was the haul of all the things I wanted to showcase at the beginning this time around, and I'm tired. Here's everything else I picked up. Got this DVD from Soul Blade to get Snuff Bottle Connection in widescreen. The only trade-off, apparently, is that it is missing a couple minutes that the full screen version that I have does contain. So there's that, but for the most part, getting this in widescreen. From eBay. From Goodwill. From Goodwill. Got some DVDs, including one of the Fox Studio classics that I don't have. Still slowly trying to get all those. I'm almost complete, but I'll get there eventually. Then from eBay, a couple bootlegs of films that I have on full screen DVDs. These, however, are widescreen. So just to get them to widescreen, I grabbed those. Also from eBay, Pale Rider, to upgrade this VHS. From Goodwill. And this one, upgrading VHS. From eBay, some more full screen upgrades to widescreen. Four from Goodwill and one from a thrift store. And these three upgrade VHS. From an antique mall, some DVDs, this one upgrading a VHS. From Goodwill. And these three VHS upgrades. This one is the Warner Archive edition. From an antique mall, some DVDs. These three upgrading VHS. And one Blu-ray. Went to an antique mall, got some DVDs. Here we have a Warner Archive and a Kino Lorber. And so these VHS and one DVD can be deleted from the collection. Got this DVD to upgrade this VHS. From an antique mall. These few will upgrade these VHS. From an antique mall. Got these two titles. And from another antique mall, I got some good stuff, including a Warner Archive, Hangar 18 on Olive, Fantastic Voyage, First Men in the Moon, I Remember Mama. These for upgrading VHS. Okay, this time around for the Pantheon, which is my list of favorite films of all time, I have two films to talk about briefly from one director, that is Abbas Kiarostami. As I hinted earlier, the one is Where is the Friend's House from 1987. This film stars or features a little boy who desperately needs to get this notebook to his friend before school the next day, or else his friend will be expelled. And so this is set in Iran and these different villages, and he's running from one village to another, trying to find his friend. And the whole conceit and concept of it is just a fascinating little meditation on how children can get focused on needing to do a certain thing and getting themselves into all sorts of situations, being misunderstood and ignored and misdirected and not taken seriously by adults. Um, and so as you watch him go from here to there and back and forth again, and being directed to go here, but really that's not the right place, or he goes to some place and talks to somebody who tries to help him. The whole quest of it is just such a rich adventure. And just to see the interaction of the boy and his family, of how they don't understand him, but it also gives a great look at how a kid sees the world and interprets the world and the things that he finds important. So it's just a great little film, and highly recommend it. Of course, you can get it in this Criterion edition of the Coker trilogy. If you have the Criterion channel, you can watch it and the other two movies in this set. Um, the other two movies kind of do this meta textual leveling up, where the second movie takes place in a essentially a fictional world where the first movie is a movie. And they're going to try to find the kid who was in the movie. Then the third movie is a fictional setting of the filming of the second movie. So it's really interesting, especially if you're interested in film. Um, the other film that I wanted to mention is one that I saw around the same time as Where's the Friend's House, and that is from 1997, Taste of Cherry. This is my old Criterion DVD that I bought used. But I saw both of these on the Criterion channel at some point. This one features a man who wants to commit suicide, and he spends the whole movie driving around trying to find someone to help him. That is to say, bury him once he's killed himself. So it's a quest to find someone to help him complete his suicide and, you know, put him in the ground. And so it's a lot of driving around, a lot of conversation, but a lot of it is just interesting interactions between people, especially considering the subject matter. Um, and I loved it at the time. Also, the ending is you could chop off the last few minutes, the last ending that's on here, and have a great movie. The fact that that ending is on there just adds this level to it that you now expect as a Kiarostami thing, where he's being a little metatextual. A lot of people love his movie Close Up, which I love it too, but maybe not as much as these two, especially because I saw these two first. But that film mixes reality and film at the same time. So very interesting director. Check out both of these. Where's the Friend's House and Taste of Cherry. They're both films set in Iran by a native director. So check them out. Okay, this time around on the bookshelf, I'm doing something a little different. I'm going to talk about how I catalog films briefly, but how it relates to these two volumes that I'm going to share. So when I buy or watch a movie, I actually track it in 4 different ways. Multiple redundancy in different ways. First of all, I will my whole collection and the movies I've seen but don't own are cataloged in IMDb, and that's one of the resources I use when I'm out buying films, to see if I own it and what format. I also have the entire collection cataloged on Letterboxd, and I can use that for the same purpose. I also have the movies I own in a just a binder where I just write them down by letter. And then I also have a checklist system using 2 volumes from Leonard Maltin. And I do this because it's what I started doing decades ago, and I just kept it up. Now, Maltin doesn't publish guides anymore, so what I have here are the last volumes of what he published. But I use these as checkmark books. When I see a movie or get a movie that's in these books, I put a checkmark next to it. So I'm going to show you these 2 books. This is the main guide, the final guide. He did these every year, and then a little while after the last annual volume, he put out this, which is just called The Modern Era. And, if you've seen these Maltin guides, they're just little capsule reviews. Tries to tell you what format it's available on, all the very basic information, actor, director, year, rating, that kind of thing. Something he did several years before he quit was that he split all films pre 1965 or up to 1965 into a classic movie guide. And this is the 3rd and final edition of that. So this is all films from silent era through, right there, through 65. So I use these 2 volumes as checklists. So these are books that are by my side all the time because I'm constantly buying movies, constantly watching movies, going in here and checking them off. Now, obviously, there are many, many films, especially when you get into the obscure stuff that we buy, especially, Vinegar Syndrome and Shot on Video and all that good stuff, that's not in here. Also, since these ended somewhere in the 2000 teens, all the movies that have come out since, I can't check off. So, I started this system a long time ago. I would write them down in a notebook. If they were not in those guides, I would write them in a notebook. As you can see, this notebook has been around a while. And I still use it. But the point here is, these are 2 very established, formerly annual guides that people would use. I would buy this one every year for, I don't know, a long time. Doesn't mean I always agree with the reviews. It's a handy source for information, especially, in years past, prior to the internet or when the internet was young. But these are 2 books that I use as part of my cataloging. So that's all. Just wanted to share that for the bookshelf segment. So until next time, everyone, enjoy your movies.